Hey there, Regina Anla here, and it is time for Coffee with Regina. It's the afternoon, so we're having our water instead of our coffee. And today I have my very good friend, Gary Rogers, with me. Hi, Gary.
Hello, Regina. Good to be with you.
I love having you here. This is going to be such an awesome conversation. Let me tell you all a little bit about Gary because he's like one of the coolest people I know. He's got over 50 years of professional speaking and television production experience, and he is a true expert at his craft. He's produced TV commercials, infomercials, and corporate videos for some of the world's largest corporations, including AT&T, Motorola, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Procter& Gamble, Toyota, Coca-Cola. The list just keeps going on. And he really knows how to capture your audience's attention. Now, for over a decade, he's taken his expertise online outside of that television piece and brought it online, showing entrepreneurs the easiest and fastest way to get clients using a simple webcam, this thing right here. And he is a master teacher and director, and he's had the opportunity to direct many Hollywood stars, including the Academy Award winning actor Charlton Heston. One of my favorite lines of Gary's is, "If I could direct Moses, I could direct anybody." So Gary's passion for teaching and empowering others to succeed is unmatched. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just getting started, he can help you achieve your goals and take your business to the next level simply with the use of a webcam. How's that for an intro?
Oh, you couldn't have done any better. You are a master, absolute master. I've got to tell your audience that you became a client of mine a number of years ago. You went through my workshop, and now you are an absolute internet icon. I am so proud of you. You are everywhere I go on the internet. I'm just so proud of what you've done. It's just so good to be with you.
And that is a perfect testament to your amazing abilities to teach people how to do things. So let me give you a little background, folks, for what I've done with Gary, because prior to meeting Gary, I would get on a webcam and I'd be like this, and I'd be going like this, and I'd be looking down and looking at my notes and doing all this stuff. Not only that, you couldn't hear me for anything. There was all of this echo noise and background noise and all this stuff going on. And I got on with Gary, and we're going to talk about, he's got this free webcam workshop. We'll tell you all about it when we get closer to the end here. But right now, I can't help but tell you about it because I took that, and it is solely because of that program that, according to Gary, I'm an icon.
You're the one that did it. You're the one that did it, and you're a master.
So, so Gary, first off, I have to ask, Charlton Heston, and I love that comment that you always say about, if I could direct Moses, I can direct anybody. What was it like directing Charlton Heston?
Well, it was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. I'm a nobody directing an Academy Award winning actor, and he was so kind. He was honestly one of the kindest, nicest people I've ever met. I'm a nobody, and he was just so good to work with, and I cannot say enough about that man and the experience that I had with him.
That is absolutely amazing. I can't even imagine. But the whole 6 degrees of separation. So you worked with Charlton Heston, which means I know Charlton Heston and all the people that he knows. So hey, I know everybody in Hollywood apparently.
No, hardly. I've worked with a lot of Hollywood stars, and he's the nicest one. I can't say that about all of them. Some of them are real jerks to work with, but now I'm working with just ordinary people, and that's more fun than anything.
Yes.
Literally helping people look good and sound good and promote their business on camera. I mean, this little webcam, it's the same one that I'm looking into right now. This is the most powerful tool I've ever seen in my life, and most people really struggle with it. So
Mm.
it's a lot of fun today.
So speaking of that, so like I said, prior to working with you, I was one of those people. I was like, my webcam wasn't set up right. I was using the one right off of my laptop, and my voice wasn't right with the microphone, and I had all this stuff going on. So if somebody is looking to enhance or get better at what they do online, their online presence? Where do you even start?
Well, the biggest mistake that almost everybody makes the moment they turn on their webcam is they don't connect with their audience. And there's a reason for that. Almost everybody today is on a laptop, and your webcam is up at the top of the screen, and you want to see the people that you're talking to. So you look down at the screen, and everybody watching me right now doesn't feel connected with me because I'm looking down and my camera's up there. That's where the people are. Now, when I look into the camera, you feel connected with me, but you can't see the people you're talking to. And I found a way to circumvent that where you can actually see the people as you're talking to them and have them feel like you're looking straight into their eyes. And if any of your people want to come to my free webcam workshop, I will show them exactly how that's done.
I love that. I'm actually going to put that up on the screen right now so people can take a look at that if they want to go in there. It's companyflix.com webcam workshop, because when you think about it, for all of the folks that are out there, no matter what you do as an entrepreneur, if you do any kind of presentation online, or you're at any kind of networking event, especially at a networking event, you have all of these people, and what do you do at a networking event? You go around the room, and I was like, oh, so hey, Gary, what do you do? And you get people going, okay, well, I do this, and this. And it's like, as soon as they look down and start looking at their notes, you've totally lost my interest.
Yep, and everybody does that. Unfortunately, you can make more money faster, easier, and cheaper with nothing but a webcam if you use it properly. But most people giving an elevator pitch, they suck at it. They're boring. And I mean, if somebody reads an elevator pitch, hi, I'm Gary Rogers. I'd like to, nobody's going to listen to me. You got to capture their attention, and there's a real art. You mentioned that I'd produced thousands of television commercials. An elevator pitch is similar to a television commercial. It should follow the same format that almost all television commercials follow. And I teach people how to write their own elevator pitch that will command attention, open doors for them, and put a lot more money in their pocket. But it's a learning experience. Most people haven't had any experience at that. And like anything, you need to be taught and then practice, practice, practice. But boy, we are, when I say we, I'm a coach, you're a coach. Coaching, online coaching is the second fastest growing industry in the world. Anybody with some experience, some knowledge, some expertise in a given subject, if it's a marketable product, service, or course, they can make great money on the internet if they follow certain principles. But the moment you look into that webcam, you are actually encompassing the worst fear that almost every human being on the face of the earth has, and that's public speaking. And it's even more frightening when you're looking into a stupid webcam and smiling. It's you don't. It's something that needs to be taught. And I've never had so much fun in my life just working with people all over the world. I don't need to set my foot out the door, and anybody can do that with a little training and a little practice.
And that makes so much sense. And you said something in there about, a little practice, right? And when I first started, one of my stories of when I first started doing lives is I was one of those people. I hated being in front of a camera. I could stand up on a stage in front of 10,000 people, 2,000 people, 5 people, doesn't matter how big the room is. I could stand up on a stage, talk all day, totally confident, have no problem. As soon as you put a camera in front of me, I froze. And it took me a while. The very first program that I had when I started this particular business was called Autumn Ascent Weekly. And the very first episode of that, it was going over some personal development type tips. And every week we got on, and I had a whole bunch of people who came in. And the very first one, I probably had like 25 people in the room with me. And it was actually a good thing that I had a script. I probably didn't look at the camera much. And I don't remember. Once I got done, I don't remember a word I said. I was shaking from head to toe. I got off. One of my friends was on it. I called him up. I said, "Oh my God, did that actually sound good?" And he's like, "That sounded awesome. You were fine. Don't worry about it." I said, "Really?" Because I have no clue what I said. That's how nervous I was just doing that first presentation. And then after I did them a few times, I got more used to the process and I got more comfortable. So you have a point there with it's practicing the pieces. It's also practicing getting over that fear of being online, right?
Yep. And you are just such a master at it, literally. I remember way back when I recommended you get a little lavalier microphone, and the cat, I think, if I remember right, the cat ate the cord and you couldn't talk on your microphone. Oh, there you
Right
go.
there. Right there. That is my microphone. And I will tell you so that's the next thing. Talk about sound, right?
Yep.
And so I started out, I was using the mic from my laptop. Ah, big mistake.
Yep.
That didn't work at all because there was not only echoey and it just didn't work right. There was a lot of background noise and everything. So I bought myself a Blue Yeti and I plugged that in and I started using that because everybody who's out there has that fancy microphone in front of them. I was like, oh, that looks really cool. I'll get one of those fancy microphones and put that in front of me. So I had my Blue Yeti. And the thing is I was doing some of those presentations and my Blue Yeti kept cutting out. And so I'd be talking and people were all of a sudden like, I can't hear you. We can't hear you anymore. And I was like, uh-oh, I have this, what I think is a fancy microphone in front of me and it's not working right. And it's plugged in USB. And then you and I chatted. And I was like, I can go online and for like $15, go buy this plug-in USB thing. Nobody sees it. This is Zoom. You don't see from here down. So
Uh, I've got a little lavalier microphone
yep.
right here. It connects. Every announcer on every television station in the world tonight, when they announce the news, they're going to be wearing a little lapel microphone. This is not connected right now, but that's what everybody does.
Yep.
And it gives you great sound. This cost me $19, $19. It gives you so much better sound than your built-in microphone in a laptop. Most of them are terrible. But you want to sound good, you want to look good, have some decent lighting, and most importantly, you want to connect with your audience with eye contact. That's the worst mistake almost everybody makes. They are looking at their screen over here, down here, and the audience is in that camera. And people
Yeah.
just don't realize, unfortunately, if you want to really connect with your audience, which you should if you're on camera, I'll show you. I can't tell you today because it takes too long. But if they come, we'll show them, and there's nothing to buy, but it's free of charge. A free webcam workshop.
Yeah. And, back to the microphone, just to wrap up the microphone, you're absolutely right. So my very first microphone, so let's see if I can pull this up here. So there is a little cord because it plugs directly into my USB on my computer.
Yeah.
And I think it took an entire 2 days on my first microphone before my cat decided that the cord was a toy and she chewed her way right through it. And I was like, okay, so now I always have a backup one because they're so cheap, right? And so
Yep.
I have a backup one. But after that first time, she never bothered it again. So I think it was just like the first time it was like, oh, a new toy for me. And I was like, no, that's not for you. That's for me. And don't touch my microphone again.
Live and learn.
Yes. The only other challenge that I had with that was, if you notice, I have this little clip on here. It's one of those little
Yep.
yeah, my little lavalier, the little clip that goes on there, my clip broke. And I realized, well, that doesn't mean you have to get a new mic. I could use my Yankee ingenuity and just do something else. And I clip that on and it clips perfectly to everything. So little Yankee ingenuity.
You are so smart.
So now when you're thinking about your presentations and your webcams, you made a comment about, people are looking over here, looking over there. That's one thing I see often. I go to a lot of online networking events. I see you at a bunch of them.
Yep.
And as you look around the room, you see people who are like this. And anybody who has more than one screen, what advice do you give them?
Well, your audience is in the camera. Doesn't matter what screen you're looking. If I'm looking at this, I've got three screens in front of me right now. The moment I take my eyes off that camera, I've lost my audience. All of your people are thinking, "You idiot! What are you doing looking over there?" I'm here. They're in the camera, and it's the hardest thing for people to do, but it's so easy to do if you learn the secrets. It's just like anything in life. You need a little training, and then you need to practice what you learned.
That is so true. And a great piece of advice that a friend gave me, the same friend that I called after my first little, I won't call it a failure. I would just say that it was my first attempt at going live, knowing that I was scared to death. And, it's a lot of people are scared to death of going live. And the thing is, you just need to go do it. And whatever it is, it is. And the advice that he gave me was, if you really have a hard time looking into the camera, tape a picture to the back of the camera.
Yeah,
And if you tape a picture to the back of the camera and just talk to that person.
that's right.
Yeah, because one of the things that I've noticed, especially at networking events, is that you've got, most of them are done on Zoom or something like that, and you've got this gallery of people. And so when a person's speaking, if they're highlighted, their picture's down here on the screen, but your camera's still up there.
Yep.
And I notice people looking at themselves, and they're staring at themselves, and it's like, okay, you're looking down here, your camera's up here. So I see that mistake all the time. What else do you see when you go to those networking meetings? What do you see people doing?
You do. Literally, I've done something different, and I can't take the time, but my camera is literally at eye level. It's an external camera. It's in front of my screen. I'm looking right into your eyes. I did something where I reduced my Zoom screen. I teach people how to do this. I'm looking straight into your eyes. I can see every move. You're going like this. I can see every move that you make, and everybody wants to see the people they're talking to. But if your camera's up there and the people are down lower and you take your eyes off the camera, you've lost connection with them. It's the most important thing that anybody can learn. And 99% of everybody out there has no idea how to do it. That's one of the things I learned a long time ago. There's so many just little things that people need to be aware of. Some good lighting. A lot of people are just so dark you can't even see the pupils of their eyes. And with a decent desktop lamp, a couple of desktop lamps that cost you $30 for two of them that can light both sides of your face, you're perfectly lit both day and night. And if people are doing business on the internet, you should want to look your very best with some good lighting, some good sound, and eye contact. You can literally promote anything. The biggest problem that most people have in our business is we're in a sales business, and most coaches don't like the word sales. They hate to appear like they're selling anything, which is a shame, because if you have a product, a service, or a course that can help people, you should be proud of making a living helping other people with your product, service, or course. And that's all selling is. In my day, there was no such thing as an internet. I started out in sales years and years ago. I had to get on the telephone and call somebody cold that didn't know me. And I had only a few seconds to say something that would capture their attention enough to give me a physical appointment where I could then put the phone down and get in my car and go out and sit with them in person. Nothing has changed in sales for 2,000 years or whatever. The only thing that has changed are the tools. And today, rather than pick up a phone, I just get in front of my webcam, which I'm talking into right now. And I don't need to, again, put my foot out the door. If you've got a marketable product, service, or course, you need to get in front of people. You've heard the know, like, and trust. You don't need to know somebody for a week or a month or a year. But when you get in front of people on Zoom, and or any platform for that matter, we're on StreamYard right now, any platform on the internet where you can see them, they can see you, you can ask them questions, they can ask you questions, they get to know you very quickly. You can sell more products, services, and courses faster, easier, and cheaper using a webcam than anything else you'll ever do online. Literally, if you learn just a few basic secrets that anybody can apply.
You said something in there with the know, like, and trust. And the know, like, and trust, again, if you're on a Zoom and you're meeting with maybe a potential client and you're looking at them and then going, oh yeah, and so my product does this, this, and this, and you're looking away, that is not building the well, we'll say the like or trust factor because they're wondering, it was like, well, geez, if she has to read her whole program to me because she doesn't know it, then does she really know what she's teaching if she can't just say it? Because that know, like, and trust is important. So how you come across on screen is the same as if you were face to face in person with them.
So powerful, Regina, and you are a master at it again. Literally, people are frightened when they get on the webcam. That's natural. That's part of public speaking, and we're speaking to, I don't know how big your audience is. It could be 10 million, could be 10,000, it could be 10. Doesn't matter. You need to just talk to people. You need to make certain you understand there are people out there watching me right now. So many people are just robots. When they turn their camera on, they don't smile, they don't use any public speaking skills, they don't even eye contact, they don't use eye contact, they're looking around, no gestures, no enthusiasm. You just got to be yourself and authentic and talk to people, friend to friend, so to speak.
That's another great point as far as being visible online is that your energy comes across. Your energy comes across that webcam. So if you're just sitting there, even if you're scared to death, that first one that I did, I watched it afterwards, and my energy was okay. I still didn't remember a word that I said. I just, in my head, I was just, make sure you're smiling, make sure you're happy, make sure there's inflection in your voice, make sure you're energetic, keep the thing going. And so I did. I was just more scared of being in front of that camera. And I have been on calls and I've been in presentations, I've been in programs where the person who is even just doing a webinar that they're presenting, they're doing a webinar. So they aren't talking to me directly. It's not live directly with me. It's a webinar that I'm watching. And they're talking about this, and they say, yep, so we're going to teach you about this now, and then we're going to move over to this, and then we're going to switch over to the presentation, and I'll show you a couple slides on this. And oh my gosh, I want to fall asleep. I'm gone in 2 minutes. It's terrible how some people do this. And I know that some of these people that do this like that on the screen are totally energetic and authentic and real when they're live.
Yep.
As soon as you put the camera in front of them, that's what happens. It's something shifts. So your whole idea of practice, get on there and do it. Now, what do you think about that? About watching your own videos back to see how you do?
Well, the video doesn't lie. Picture's worth 1,000 words. And years ago, when I started training with 3M Company, they made me a training manager. And one of the subjects was public speaking skills, which is the biggest fear in the world that most people have. I talked 3M into putting a video recorder and a camera. This was years before home video. It cost $20,000. But we replayed. They wanted their corporate managers to be good speakers. We replayed, and most of them wanted to throw up when they saw what they were doing, that we were trying to get them to avoid. But as soon as they saw it, boy, And I fell in love with video so much so that years later, I left 3M Company and started my own television production company and spent most of my life in television production, motion pictures. Picture doesn't, it doesn't lie. Video doesn't lie. You can see yourself as other people see you. And that's important. And again, this is something that anybody can do. You were scared at first because this was a new field for you. I am so proud of you, Regina. I see you all the time on the internet. People look up to you as an internet icon. Everybody should be working with Regina Ander. She is a pro. But you were a little stiff when you started. That's natural. That's natural. Oh, what do I say? Wait a minute. Is my lighting good? You were worried about everything. Now you're an internet producer. Literally, you're on the live stream right now in front of lots and lots of people. This is something that anybody can learn to do if they're willing to face the fear of something new, something different. People are looking at me. They'll judge me if I make a mistake. Mistakes are natural. People will empathize. I just made a mistake. People will empathize with you if you make a little screw up. That's just part of life. That's fun.
And that's a really good point as well, because one of the things that I did back in my early entrepreneur days, and even in corporate world, is I went to a lot of courses for speaking, and I was in a popular, well, we'll just say what it was. I went to Toastmasters for a long time, and I was in Toastmasters for many years. And if you've ever been to Toastmasters, they teach you to be very perfect. There's no ums, there's no likes, you don't screw up. If you screw up, you get a little check mark. Oh, ding, she screwed up. She said the wrong word. And there's something to be said for going to an organization like that, because when you learn that, it does help you if you're saying too much, or too much,
Yes.
or like too much. However, that's how we speak normally. So there's a fine line between that perfect presentation and being authentic.
Yep.
And so when you think about when you go on to anything, I'm online. I did my tips and tricks Tuesday yesterday, and I started going through it, and I was flubbing up with trying to get my screen up so that I could do what I was trying to do. And I just rolled with it. I was just like, you know what? Okay, so I'm going to just keep talking while I'm trying to get this up, and here's what we're trying to do here. And because stuff happens and it's real, and people like the real, raw, authentic you.
They do. I've made so many mistakes. If I had a dime for every mistake I'd made, I'd be filthy rich. But that's the best way to learn, by making mistakes. Everybody's going to make mistakes. When you do, you remember those and try to avoid them in the future.
Yeah, and that is so true, because the thing is not to get stuck in the mistakes. So I've had people who have come on and did even the coffee with Regina with me, and afterwards they're like, "Oh man, I was so bad in that." I was like, "No, you weren't. You were perfect." And they were like, "Well, I was talking like this, and I couldn't remember something, and I flubbed this up." And I was like, "That's fine. You were being you." And that whole authentic piece, people want to see the real you, and the real you says, like they mess up. You're not perfect all the time. If you are, you're a robot.
You got it. And you're not a robot.
Yeah, exactly. So we're running out of time here. And so if you were going to give, like, maybe a top 3 tips, or, whatever, 3 tips, 4 tips, 5 tips, whatever you would give for tips, if somebody's just getting started going live on camera, whether it's a Facebook Live, a Zoom, creating a webinar, it doesn't matter. What are the top 3 tips or so that you would give them?
Just get out and do it. Literally, you're going to be frightened. It's new. If this is the first time you've done it, you're going to be frightened. I'm frightened when I do something brand new that I've never done before. That's just part of life, but you got to do it. If you hold back, you're not going to get anywhere, but just do it. Now, there's certain things that you need to learn. Those are things that can be easily learned by anybody. literally. It's just you that needs to take the initiative and put yourself out there in the worst fear in the world, talking to people, public speaking. It'll never kill you. I haven't had anybody die on me yet. And I've seen people like you. I am so proud of you, Regina. You, I just can't tell you how exciting it is to be on your program and see what you've done in the years since I first met you.
Thank you so much. I thank you so much for the kudos. I really want to highlight your webcam workshop. And so you have this free webcam workshop, which I went through. I do this good stuff now because I went through Gary's workshop. So tell us a little bit about the workshop.
Well, it's a free workshop that anybody can come to just once. You can't come back if you've been there. I need room for other people. But it's 90 minutes. Don't come unless you can spend all 90 minutes where we literally get very involved. I put everybody through a sound check. If you got poor sound, I'll tell you, and I'll show you and tell you right on the spot what you can do immediately to fix it. And so many people have no idea. They haven't been an audiophile throughout. The same thing applies with lighting. And the biggest thing that I teach people is how to connect eye to eye and be able to see them. If you can learn that, that's the most important thing you'll ever learn using a webcam. Those are just some of the things that we do in that workshop. It's a lot of fun. Everybody has a good time and they learn things that they never dreamed of that will revolutionize their business if they're using a webcam. I hope your audience will come. companyflix.com/webcam workshop. We've got one this Friday. I don't know what day we're here. There we go. Back to you.
It's right there on the bottom of the screen, right there on the screen. Webcam workshop. You have to go check it out. Gary runs them on a regular basis, and he has new people come in all the time. It is an absolutely amazing. It's free. This is a no-brainer if you're looking to up your appearance online. This is a no-brainer. It's a free webcam workshop taught to you by somebody who has decades of experience teaching people how to be in front of a camera. So do not pass up this opportunity. I'm telling you, it is absolutely worth it. Thank you, Gary, so much for being my guest today.
Thank you.
And we will see you all next time on Coffee with Regina or Water with Regina. Bye for now.